Do you collect pins?
You gotta wear one. I think that would be funny.
That's amazing. I will. I'm gonna bid on one of them. You got your perspective. I want to be happy. Your perspective.
I'ma keep it triller than I ever had. Triller. Who's that with your girl? That's why you looking sad. I just took your bitch, nigga.
Hey, D-Rock wants more context. And I'm like super 36 hours of travel. But the Jets won, so it's Tuesday. We left on Sunday. Backstage at Melbourne during this 1 week trip to Australia, New Zealand, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and then Auckland, New Zealand. Super excited, and I'm about to hit the stage. 3,000 people here in Melbourne. Lower energy than normal, which means I'll probably come out there a little more thoughtful, a little more setting up kind of the tone, and then as the energy of the crowd gets going, I'll probably build. I think in general, I'm a builder with my talks, and I think this one will actually, just because I'm tired, will probably start at the lowest energy in a while. So, let's see what happens. Do people understand how hard it is to live your life for yourself? To live as your own boss and make enough money to have a good life that's a 1% thing in our society, and everybody has this level of entitlement, and especially now, trust me, I'm feeling it, I'm the beneficiary of it, but now that we've made entrepreneurs cool, the whole thing's totally fucked. Everybody thinks entrepreneurship's so easy. This shit is super hard. It's super hard to be good enough to make that kind of money. Because even though the internet's here and everybody in this room has the chance to do it, the problem is the internet's here and everybody here has a chance to do it, and supply and demand takes over. I love people who are like, Gary, but my content, it's not doing well, but it's because people don't get it. I'm too ahead of the curve. No, you're not, Ron. You just suck. You're not ahead of shit. The market is the market is the market. You have 39 views on your YouTube, it means you suck. It means it's not interesting. Or it means that you're early. So many people are like, Gary, I'm lost. You're not lost, you're 27. This is a long game, and the opportunity is substantial. But there are two very important things. The world, my friends, let me break it down very simply for you. The world plays in the middle, and all the action is in the edges.
Please, I've penetrated the security for the second time just to see you. Look, yes. I have a confidence, and I see myself on the Forbes list in 20 years as I see you in front of me. But sometimes I don't put in the work. Something inside me is telling me not to work. I lay on bed like a stupid guy without putting in the work.
Can I tell you something real quick? Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind for sure, anybody who wants to be on the Forbes list is already in trouble. No, I mean it. I really think that might be an insight that you need to think about. Like, to think about that list.
Well, unfortunately, my passion is stock trading, which is all about money.
Well, it's not necessarily all about money. It means that you love arbitrage.
What else can you make by trading stocks?
Well, you enjoy the arbitrage of knowing something, right?
And enjoy the process, as you always say.
I agree. Dude, listen, I make money, but like, it's not like what drives me. It's a byproduct of my process. You might enjoy the fact that you know how to read weather patterns and you know how to invest in agricultural stock, or that you might believe in Jeff Bezos 15 years ago. I would not beat yourself up if you love stocks to make yourself think that you only care about the money.
Well, what if my source of passion is legacy palaces and bulletproof cars?
Well, then do that. I mean, who gets to judge? Just because I'm not into that doesn't mean it's right or wrong. You do you.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
nice
much.
to see you.
See you later.
It's a pleasure. Good luck.
My pleasure.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Guilt was my sometimes I feel like if I feel like a room really knows me, I'll take like a different angle. Like if I'm not, you know me, I'm not gonna talk about something that I'm not passionate about. So, it's kind of like having a conversation with somebody you're encouraging to do something. you've got to try all different versions, right? Encouragement, you know, like, I always think about like my buddies who like were scared to like ask a certain girl out. I used everything. First it was building up, then it was like you're a piece of shit, then it's regret, then it's like whatever, you know, whatever gets it done. The reason I'm so good at what I do is for whatever reason, and really honestly, I haven't spent a whole lot of time on it. I give a lot of value to like my circumstance and my parents, as you guys hear, but like the only thing you're dealing with is voices. Like what's crazy about me, if I was in music and Jimmy Iovine and Jay-Z and like Beyonce and Clive Davis and fucking all of them were sitting at a dinner right now and I said blah, blah, blah. And they all looked at me and said, you're wrong. The way my brain works is cool. You're about to really be humbled. Like I have a very, if I believe in something, I'm just incapable of hearing anybody else. And what happens to a lot of people that do new things, they do it out of necessity, not having any resources and desperation. It then works, and then they try to pander to the machine and they lose the edge. Do you understand? But if there's something that I have a line in the sand on, it's unmovable. And it's unmovable from the highest levels. And I knew I was part of a group that would go visit Barack Obama, and I remember there was a conversation in the fucking Oval Office, and I just remember that was the time when I was like, oh, okay, this is forever at every level. Like if I'm willing to push back on everybody in this room, you know, in that environment with like all these fancy people and the president and the government, well then, what room am I gonna be in that I'm gonna succumb to? And it comes up in other places. It comes up in, you know, some of you definitely probably know this. When I'm in the hood in a studio and I have to go against the grain, that's probably even harder than doing it in the Oval Office because street rules are different than fucking, you know, corporate rules or politician rules. And I'd rather die. I'd literally rather die. I'd rather die on my own sword, you know?
Gary, can you explain the 18-hour workday and sleeping for 6 hours a day?
If you're desperately unhappy and you hate your life, I'm very passionate that there's a lot of hours in the day. You can still work your 9-to-5 job, which is 8 hours. You can sleep 6, but guess what? If you want to say that your body needs 8, awesome. So now 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep. It still gets me excited to debate with people, what are you doing in those other 8 hours? The majority complain and watch things or do things to escape from the realities of their unhappiness. And I'm saying, don't hide or put your head in the sand, attack those other 8 hours and create content or create a side hustle or a business that can change the outcome of your unhappiness. I mean, a lot of times people confuse my message. I don't think people need to be workaholics or you know, hustle every minute. I'm speaking to the billions of people who complain or are unhappy on an everyday basis. But the fact that we have this thing called the internet, and you can go garage sailing and flipping, or start an Instagram channel, or a YouTube show, or a Shopify store, we have options, and I want people to see that. And the reality is most people would rather dwell and complain or escape. And I think that's worth debating.
I took my favorite place drive just to get my mind right. Sometimes we ride a kick it somewhere you can catch a vibe. Yeah, we smoking, getting high, but we still stay on our grind. Show you how I'm living, yeah, we do this every time. I took a trip down Harvey Drive just to get my mind right. Sometimes we ride a kick it somewhere you can catch a vibe. Yeah, we smoking, getting high, but we still stay on our grind. Show you how I'm living, yeah, we do this.
So headed now to the Sydney talk, which is the biggest of the 4 talks on this New Zealand, Australian kind of tour. What I'm way more excited about is the Jamaican bobsled pin just got a bid at $29.99, which is more than I paid for the entire huge lot. If you're not watching Trash Talk, link it up here, guys, or what have you, you're making a huge mistake. Literally, I mean, it sucks that we're going into non-garage sale season. so it's gonna lose some momentum, because I do love a good town-wide garage sale. That's actually a fun fact real quick. Just, this should belong in Trash Talk, but you know I like mixing my content. You have to look for town-wide garage sales. That's when the whole town does it. That's how you get to 30 or 40 in like a 4-hour period, 100 in a 4 or 5 hour period, instead of like driving 28 minutes and 17 to the next one. Anyway, so that's a fun fact. My greatest score for 20 bucks, 40 bucks, I bought like 5,000 playbills. And when I went through it, I found like 3 Brooklyn Dodgers booklets that went for like $1.50 a pop. Wow. The original Pinocchio 1940 something movie like thing, that went for 100. Every Betty Davis went for 20 a pop. Judy Garland's went for like 40 to 50.
Where do you find that?
It was at a state sale on a Friday in Chatham, New Jersey. I was on my way to a liquor meeting, and I saw the sign. It was a little early. I was like, "Meh." I went in, and I couldn't believe it. First, I found a Huckleberry Hound, like 1960s stuffed animal for like $1. I was like, bang, game over. I was so pumped. That's a quick 40 on the come up. But then I went downstairs and just saw like 80 boxes, and I was like, what is this? I knew nothing about playbills. This is pre-smartphone. I just went in. Wow. Bought it, took me 20 minutes to load my car, bailed on the fucking meeting, drove to my parents' house, waited for AJ to get out of high school, and like fucking spent like 9 hours looking up shit. Do you collect pins?
You gotta wear one. I think that would be funny.
That's amazing, I will. I'm gonna bid on one of them. I'm gonna wear a pin from now on.
Yeah.
Little fun fact about today, D-Rock had to put tape on all his batteries at the airport in Melbourne on the way to Sydney. The other crazy thing is we didn't have to get our ticket checked. I was so weirded out.
No passport.
Nothing. It's like,
No ID.
nothing, love it.
Was there ever a time when you thought that you would fail, and if so, how did you overcome that?
Norman, I think I can potentially fail at any moment. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. You're only as good as your last at bat. So there's always a sense in the back of my mind that I could fail. It's why I've always really, really resonated, even though I grew up a much bigger boxing fan, and I'm still a bigger boxing fan. There's something I love about mixed martial arts is that everybody takes an L, right? Like, it's just like, and I think that if you're in business for yourself, I mean, how many people here are entrepreneurs and have been for over 5 years successfully? Like, you know, a lot of us know, like, it's lonely as fuck. Like, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning this morning because there's some shit going in my LA office. I had to cancel a trip to Hawaii next week for a conference that I really wanted to go to because I have to go to LA and fix shit. When you're an entrepreneur, you own your shit, you're a firefighter. You're the last line of defense. I always think I can fail. It's the reason I'm great. I think it's like a fighter. You go in there and you know that any moment, even if you're a much better fighter than the other person, one punch can change the outcome. And that's what I think entrepreneurship is. I wake up every morning knowing that one punch that I didn't see coming can change the outcome of everything that I've been doing. And that puts me on an edge that I like. I like being awake and focused, and most importantly, I like that level of humility. I promise you here, out of every fucking person here, even if you sit here and your friend brought you and you didn't like me and you think I'm shit, nobody thinks less of themselves. Nobody thinks less of me in this room than me. I mean that. I'm just unbelievably not high on my own supply. I appreciate the admiration. I understand what's happening with me, but I promise you, if you could read my insides on a piece of paper, I stand up here knowing I'm not shit, and tomorrow it can all go away unless I continue to execute, and I play on that edge every day, and I appreciate and I'm flattered, but I'm not fucking confused. Thank you, Sydney! Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Get up here. D-Rock! Thank you guys. See ya.
So, do you have any tips on how to deliver an idea in a way that really resonates with an audience?
My framework is, do you first believe in what you're saying? I know that may sound funny, but a lot of people do things for many different reasons. Do you actually believe in it? Do you understand how you best communicate, right? Is it audio, is it written word, is it through design, is it publicly speaking, is it through video? And then do you disproportionately take into account the psychology of the audience that's consuming it and the distribution platform that's delivering it? I respect the stage the same way that I respect the Instagram algorithm. I understand that there's a platform that is delivering the message and I need to play within it. And so for me, it's just respecting all these variables.
One last question. So one of your number one tips is to learn how to communicate. So could you give me one thing I could do that I could take away today that would make me a better communicator?
I would follow up with people after you communicate with them. It's about a feedback loop.
Yeah.
And putting people in a comfortable enough place to tell you the truth is an unbelievably important part of that. You know?
Yeah.
But asking, it's a really powerful thing. I ask so many questions, even in real time during speeches, which is an unusual behavior, that I didn't know was unusual. It's just my natural state to try to get feedback. So asking people and being okay with feedback, pro and con, and trying to calibrate it in yourself. But to me, it's just a deep respect for the audience. And again, I'm extroverted and high energy, so I'm always so worried that people think that's important. There are so many people that are incredible communicators who are massively reserved. They just found their authentic way to communicate, right? I don't think people understand what this level of content and impact looks like in 12 years. I'm being a young dude. I'm gonna be 55 years old. I'm gonna be a young dude. And I'm gonna be 55 like this. It's funny, it's funny. Like, it's just like, you look at, and how I see it is I look at like rock and roll and hippie guys, and not that I'm rock and roll or hippie, but like you can, at 55, they're like the same guy. I'm like, oh, you're still a burner, right? Or you're still got like you're still rock and roll. I'm still gonna be entrepreneurship and hustler, like. How many gyms?
So one gym, there's 3,000 square meters. So I have like 4 yoga teachers, which are easy to deal with, right? But then we have martial arts instructors that have egos you can't jump over to deal with. But the two managers, we treat them all like family. There's so many things that we do for them, but then they cross the line. We have a
what line?
So like, I'll go to the drink fridge and grab a drink, and I'll pay for that later, and it never gets paid for. Like, we have a bar inside, like a cafe.
Well, there's a couple things, I understand. A couple things that I think are super important to frame up. There's no such thing as employees taking advantage of an employer. There's things that, because you're fundamentally in control. Like, it is, you can fire. Like, what you're doing, like a lot of business owners are doing, is you're amortizing out the costs. Treating like family is also a very dangerous framework. Like, as you guys know, I pump unlimited propaganda about culture, that's fine. But like, treating like family in the way that you're positioning it is something that I want to poke at, only because I think that people can either get ideological or putting makeup on a truth, right? So, a lot of people say, well, I treat my company like family, and I'll look at it carefully, and I'm like, yeah, of course you do, because you're using all these other triggers to subsidize the fact that you're underpaying market, or you like, even if you're not underpaying market, you're doing it because you want retention. Even if you're, so you're doing everything for the business. And they don't own the business. And so like my dad, back to old school, used to get crazy. Like the biggest headbutts my dad and I had were about the employees, period, by 1,000. Like the one fight that I never actually won with my dad, only out of like, I didn't want him to die, was I wanted to sell all our product in the store to our employees at cost. And it just drove him crazy. So, when somebody steals too many drinks, you fire them. I think the one mistake that you're making, in my opinion, is you're being ideological about what you do for them. Yeah. To me, when you want to do something, like not have them eat the spinach anymore, you make that rule and you deal with the ramifications of people walking out or not. Like, life's about alternatives. If they can't get free spinach from you, they can go work at another gym and get free spinach, or maybe not.